Good evening and thanks for joining us on your Friday night. I'm Sophie Erber. One Capitol Hill police officer has died and another was left injured after police say a vehicle rammed into a barrier at the Capitol building. That complex is now on lockdown. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze is in Washington, D.C. with the latest in our top story at 5.
A deadly incident at the nation's capital when a vehicle rammed into a barricade toward two Capitol police officers. In a statement, Capitol Police saying both officers have been transported to the hospital.
And it is with a very, very heavy heart that I announce one of our officers has succumbed to his injuries.
Law enforcement sources confirmed to ABC News the suspect is dead. A source says Capitol Police opened fire after the vehicle rammed into a barricade on Constitution Avenue on the north side of the complex. A federal official says the vehicle was occupied by a single driver. Authorities say the individual exited the vehicle armed with a weapon and was shot by Capitol Police. According to an FBI spokesperson, the FBI Washington field office has responded to the incident. Law enforcement already on high alert in the wake of the January 6th Capitol attack, which left 5 people dead.
The U.S. Capitol has always been clearly a symbol of this country. That's why the 9/11 hijackers attempted to fly a plane into the U.S. Capitol. It's the heart of our government. It's the heart of our democracy.
Now, much of the fencing here at the Capitol was recently taken down. A federal official tells ABC News there wasn't a heightened threat risk for today. Congress is in recess, so most members were not in the building. And President Biden is at Camp David for the weekend. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
And it is the 5th day of testimony in the trial against Derrick Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer charged with killing George Floyd. For the first time, jurors hearing Chauvin speak on body camera moments after the encounter.
Had to hold the guy down. He was going crazy.
He made no mention of his knee on George Floyd's neck. The supervisor he was speaking with said that Chauvin should have stopped that restraint sooner.
Mr. Floyd was no longer offering up any resistance to the officers. They could have ended their restraint.
The defense argues Floyd's drug use contributed to his death. Governor Reynolds has signed a controversial gun bill into law tonight. The bill ends that requirement that Iowans obtain a permit to buy a gun, but federal background checks will still be required by licensed dealers. Those background checks will not be required for private sales. 18 other states do have similar laws in place. 2 Dordt University students are part of a nationwide lawsuit tonight against the United States Department of Education. The 33 plaintiffs involved feel as if they are being discriminated against by their Christian university due to a religious exemption. But Lauren Hoekstra and 32 others say it's a violation of Title IX and is unconstitutional, especially since the university receives federal funding. A former supervisor at the Sioux City Wastewater Treatment Plant has been sentenced to prison time. 63-year-old Jay Nide of Sergeant Bluff will serve 3 months in prison. He's ordered to pay $8,500 in fines and court costs. He did plead guilty to falsifying water quality records. Evidence shows the plant could not disinfect wastewater in compliance with the Clean Water Act before releasing it into the Missouri River. Chlorine levels were below requirements on most days, except E. coli testing days, when levels were excessively boosted. Nide was the second former plant official to be charged. Patrick Schwartz, who was a shift supervisor, pled guilty in January of 2019 to the same 2 charges. He was sentenced to probation. A fire from earlier this morning claimed a home in Elk Point. That residence eventually collapsed under the blaze. Crews were called out to 402 East Washington Street around 3 in the morning. Elk Point Fire, along with crews from Vermilion and Jefferson, were able to put that fire out. Fire officials say the family inside made it out without injury, but 1 pet did die. The house tonight is a total loss. The exact cause of that fire has not yet been released, but officials say the fire did start outside of the home. It's time tonight for our first check on the weather. Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson standing by. And Scott, it definitely felt warmer today, but the wind did not give us a break.
No, the wind was still strong out there today, Sophie, but overall a really nice start to our Easter holiday weekend here with high temperatures this afternoon able to stretch into the 60s and 70s, 76 in O'Neill, 74 Yankton, and 75 degrees today in Sioux City. Tonight we'll see temperatures slip down into the 30s and 40s. As we take into account the Easter weekend here on Saturday, we'll have a high temperature of 76 and on Easter Sunday up to 81 and maintaining some mostly sunny skies. It does look like we'll start to cool things off going through next week with some rain chances coming back. More information in the 9 on 9 forecast. Sophie?
All right, thanks, Scott. Because of the pandemic, many religious services have been streaming their church services virtually. But for Easter weekend, Catholic Bishop Walker Nicholas of the Sioux City Diocese says he will be saying Mass for the public to attend in person. Other area churches are live streaming their Masses.
To have them here to participate has been a great Easter gift, and it's wonderful for all of us.
The Cathedral of the Epiphany requires masks and social distancing for all churchgoers. People also are encouraged to sign up before or after attending a Mass. President Joe Biden is putting the ball in Congress's court tonight. He says it's now up to lawmakers to get his infrastructure plan across the finish line. But Republicans are not so optimistic. KCAU 9's Washington correspondent Basil John has the details.
Inaction is not an option.
President Joe Biden put the pressure on Congress to pass his $2 trillion infrastructure plan.
Congress should debate my plan, change it, and offer alternatives if they think that's what they have to do. But Congress should act.
However, Republicans have pushed back on the president's plan.
And I'm going to fight them every step of the way because I think this is the wrong prescription for America.
Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says the $2 trillion price tag is way too high.
We ought to build that which we can afford and not either whack the economy with major tax increases or run up the national debt even more.
McConnell says the president and Democrats are pushing their liberal agenda instead of rebuilding American infrastructure.
There's more money in that plan that the president laid out in Pittsburgh for electric cars than for roads and bridges.
President Biden says the final plan will not be exactly what he's proposed, but says Republicans need to cooperate to rebuild the country.
I think the Republicans, voters, are going to have a lot to say about whether we get a lot of this done.
Congress is expected to debate the infrastructure package when lawmakers return to Capitol Hill the week after next. Reporting in Washington, I'm Basil John.
Here in the Midwest, strong economic growth is projected to continue. According to a monthly survey conducted by a Creighton University economist, it shows regional businesses have recovered half of roughly 120,000 jobs that were lost because of COVID-19 restrictions. So some good news there. A portion of Highway 59 will be closed for several months due to construction. The DOT will be removing a bridge south of Primgar, Iowa. The project will begin April 5th. Detours are expected to be in place through October 26th. Many restaurants are finally starting to make a financial comeback, while still some are using business models that have worked for them during the pandemic. This includes ghost kitchens.
If ghost kitchens continue to grow at the rate that they are, research is telling us that it could be a multi-trillion-dollar industry by 2030. So we're expecting rapid expansion of the ghost kitchen concept.
Ghost kitchens are restaurants that are strictly carry-out or delivery, or restaurants who dedicate a portion of their kitchen to an entirely different menu for carry-out. Dunker says the appeal of ghost restaurants for new owners is the cost, since they don't have to provide a dining experience. And for existing businesses, it allows owners to use the same kitchen, staff, and resources to gain a second stream of revenue.
It definitely gives us a chance to try new things, and with this virtual concept, if something doesn't work or we're not really happy with it, we can definitely change and move on to something else. We have 3 or 4 other concepts that we could do down the line that I've sort of written menus and recipes for.
This summer, Zombie Burger will be cooking up chicken strips for order. Well, KCAU 9 News is proud to tell the stories of Siouxland veterans, and nominations are always open. So if you know a veteran with a story to tell, email us at the address right there on your screen, veteransvoices@kcautv.com. For one woman, motorcycles are a family tradition. How she's carrying on that legacy while being in charge of a family dealership. Coming up.
And I don't think we could ask for any better weather for the holiday weekend here. Highs in the 70s and 80s as we get into Easter. Warm and breezy, but by the middle of next week, some rain and thunderstorms look to make a return. Your 9 on 9 forecast right after the break.
You're watching KCAU 9 News with Sophie Erber and meteorologist Marcus Beasley. This is KCAU 9 News at 5.
Welcome back. A beautiful way to start our weekend here. And as you pointed out earlier, that flag is a great indicator of the breeze that is still going strong tonight.
That's right, Sophie. It's been windy the last several days. At least today we're seeing that from the south. So that helped us out in the temperature department as we were able to cruise into the 70s throughout most of Siouxland. Here's the view now from the Port Neal Welding Company camera from our KCAU 9 studio. We're looking to the east along Highway 20, Gordon Drive there. And you can find that we have clear, sunny skies above and pretty nice conditions on this Friday. The temperature now in Sioux City is being measured at 75 degrees. That's far warmer than average for this time of year. South winds of 29 miles per hour, chugging along, 20% the relative humidity, and the dew point is just 31. As you move to the west, in the upper Midwest here, you can find that we have some 80s out that way, 82, the fencing there. Thank you very much for sending in that picture. If you have one of your own that you want to share with Siouxland, go to our website, SiouxlandProud.com, and hop over to the weather tab and just go down to send us your photos. We'd love to share them with everybody in Siouxland, of course, through our website and also here on KCAU 9 News throughout the day.
All right, thanks so much. I'm excited to have some of those warm weather pictures start coming in. Real sign that the seasons are actually changing.
I think it's about time, yeah.
All right, thanks a lot, Scott. Well, some tortoises were put into peril when the pet store they were in caught on fire. What firefighters say made this rescue so unique, coming up. But first, not a lot of people at 95 years of age are motorcycle fans or business owners, but one grandma is owning both titles with pride. How she stays revved up for work, next.
Congratulations to Chris Gunderson of Odebolt, Iowa, this year's KCAU 9 Remarkable Woman of Siouxland. Chris received $1,000 that will be used for the Community Basket Ida and the Iowa SIDS Foundation. Congratulations, Chris. This is KCAU 9 News.
For decades, one woman has lived her passion out for motorcycles. Now at age 95, she's continuing a family tradition of owning a Harley-Davidson dealership. Amanda Eustace shows us how.
Ever since Schaefer's Harley-Davidson opened 54 years ago along Brick Road in Orwigsburg, Fern Schaefer, also known as Nana, has been along for the ride.
I always call it my second home, so I get up and go to work.
Nana, now 95 years old, was the first full-time employee when her husband and son opened the business.
I don't know where time went because it was always something to do. Yep. I spent many a night here catching up with all the paperwork.
With walker in hands, Nana still works, sorting the mail, doing notary work, and as her family likes to put it, keeping everyone in line. Growing up, Nana loved riding motorcycles and occasionally will go for a ride in the sidecar.
Nana used to ride her own back in the day. She was doing that long before that was a hip thing to do as a lady.
When people think of motorcycles, they usually associate the industry with being male-dominated. But here at Schaefer's, that's not the case. Business is run by family and women.
She always made it that it was a woman-run business because she did the parts ordering, the bike selling, the parts selling, the everything back when everything first started. My grandfather and my dad were the mechanics, basically.
Nana's two granddaughters and daughter-in-law, Carol Schaefer, run the shop alongside her. Like Nana, the business has changed, but the Schaefers hope to last at least another 54 years in business and continue the legacy of being a family-owned and operated dealership.
Well, tortoises have built-in protection thanks to their shells, but it's not designed to be fireproof. How some fast-acting firefighters rescued a dozen of these slow-moving creatures next. A dozen large tortoises are now on their way to a new home after a fire rescue in California. Animal rescuers are not uncommon with firefighters, but Lonnie Wong tells us why this call was such a surprise for the firefighters.
When firefighters arrive at the scene of any emergency, they never know what to expect. They have to be ready for anything. Still, what Lodi firefighters found here was an eye-opener.
We got dispatched to a structure fire, and little did we know when we showed up, we had 12 giant tortoises that we had to rescue.
The Serpentarium, a chain of reptile pet stores with one located in Lodi, leases part of the building. The animals were stored in a raised mezzanine area, and while they carry protection against predators on their backs, these tortoises were in need of aid.
2 of them had fallen through the floor where it had burned through. So a couple of them had injuries. Some of them seemed like they were in a little bit of shock from the smoke.
Oddly enough, Sacramento area firefighters also rescued 2 tortoises in an apartment fire last year, but they were tiny by comparison. This species of African tortoise can grow to 200 pounds and over 3 feet wide.
Yeah, these were not that small. These were very large, some of them upwards of about 150 pounds.
It took 2 firefighters per animal to place them in a pickup truck. Some of the same firefighters who have a thing with snakes and reptiles had speculated about responding to a place like the Serpentarium.
They always said, yeah, if we ever have to respond to that place, I'm not going in.
The Serpentarium owners messaged me that they and their tortoises are en route to a new home in Texas, and they will soon be living outdoors on a 33-acre spread.
They all made it, and they're enjoying the outdoor life now.
Silver linings. Taking a live look outside right now from our tower cam here at KCAU 9 News. Scott returns with one more check on your forecast. Don't go away. Before we wrap up here at 5, let's check in first with Tim for what's coming up at 6. Hi, Tim.
Anybody that's been outside knows the winds are gusting. That's brought out more red flag warnings across Siouxland. A reminder of folks, you're not advised to burn anything outside yet tonight. Well, one of the more controversial bills in the Iowa legislature is moving forward across the state tonight. The debate over the blessing, the blessing of Governor Kim Reynolds now with this bill. The governor signing the controversial gun bill into law today. That bill ends the requirement that Iowans obtain a permit to buy a gun, but federal background checks will still be required by licensed dealers in Iowa. And a Nebraska photographer has recorded the pandemic by snapping portraits of friends as well as strangers. We'll share with you, his work and how these historic times weigh heavily not only on the photo subjects but the photographer himself. That's coming up at 6. Also, big news from the Major League Baseball field today, I guess you could say, and Jake will have that in sports. That's all after World News Tonight.
Yeah, some real shakeups from the top down there. Looking forward to that story. Thanks a lot, Tim, and looking forward to this beautiful weekend weather.
Yeah, we've hit a home run in regards to the weather here, Sophia. It looks like we'll have sunny skies, highs in the 70s and 80s for Easter and beyond. Around the middle of next week, some showers and storms look to cruise back in.
Your puns are endless. Thank you, Scott. Thank you for joining us. We hope you'll join us again at 6, and until then, have a great night and a good weekend.